Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to explain to you some features of DXBinteract, how DXBinteract plays an important role in the current times for any given investor, buyer or seller in understanding the trends of the market and how it helps them get better education in terms of making the right decision given the data that we have in the market. Now, when you go onto the main page of DXBinteract.com, there are many features, but let me explain you a few of the features that are basically very educational in terms of taking the right decision given period of time. You scroll down, the first feature you will probably find is the top selling projects. When you click on the top selling projects, it covers all the freehold areas of Dubai. We currently have here, let's say the area downtown Dubai. In all quarters, these are the number of transactions that are happening. Now this gives you an analysis of how many transactions are happening in any given tower or development within a master community, or what's the median price and what's the price per square feet. Now within downtown Dubai, we see the St. Regis Tower is holding its topmost position with 133 transactions from year to date. Now, if a buyer is confused about whether the development is being sold by a primary developer or it's in a resale, you can simply click on the first sale or the resale option. Over here, when we click on the first sale, it will only show us the developments that are being sold by the developer directly, which means one residence is the one which have sold 117 units from year to date with a price per square feet value of 2,930 per square feet. However, when you click on the resale, you'll find only the transactions that have been happening in the resale market, where St. Regis tops the position, Grande is number 2 with 117 units. But it will also give you a comparison in terms of the year it has been resold again. So 2024, we had 47 transactions in St. Regis. However, it picked up significantly in the resale market with 133 transactions in just 2025, where we still have 3 more months to finish the end of the year. In Burj Khalifa, we see 83 transactions last year, but 107 till date. And Forte T1, 86 transactions last year, whereas 73. So if given me as an investor, if I have to put this in the rational value of understanding, I would say that if this graph matches the graph that's ongoing, then I would probably be picking up my next pick in good transactions in Forte. Or if we scroll down, we will see transactions in probably, I would say, Boulevard Point or Burj Lake Hotel, the address downtown, because we see that the topmost transactions that have happened in one of the prime towers have significantly picked up in the resale market within this year. So any transactions that have probably been happening under the number that was from the last year, I would say it would have more chances of appreciation, since downtown Dubai is one of the prime most developments of Dubai. This is one of the features. Going back to the main page, I'm going to explain you now another feature that we have on DXBinteract. You go down on the main page, you'll find an option of top real estate developers. Now, top real estate developers helps you understand which developer is selling in what proportion and what numbers and what's the total number of sales that a developer has achieved. You go down on this page, you'll find that year to date, Emaar has sold stock worth 51 billion dirhams. Whereas Damac has sold 24 billion dirhams and Soba has sold 16 billion and so forth. It'll show you the top 10 developers with their scores on this chart. However, this is an year to date. If you want to understand it further, you have the option of clicking on the first quarter, the second quarter and third quarter. Let's click on the first quarter and see where the transactions were then. Emaar did 14 billion alone in the first quarter, whereas Damac did 9 billion and the third position was held by Nakheel doing only 7 billion dirhams. We're clicking on the second half of the year, we see that Emaar then did another 26 billion. Damac went to 10 billion and Miras took the third position by doing 5 billion. Going on to the third quarter, we see Emaar doing 11 billion, but kaboom, Benghazi takes the second position from position number 8 in the previous quarters to a whooping 10 billion dirham worth of sales, which means that Benghazi captured more of the market in the third quarter than it did in the first and second quarter by leaping up to the position of number 2. Going down on the same page, you will find, let's click on the year to date first to understand that what's the total sphere or the total share of the developers in the given market. Over here you will see a large sphere segregating each developer's share in the market. EMA holding the lion's share with 20% alone. The other developers, which can be many, we have more than 100 developers in the given market, so which are 38% contributing to that. We see DMAC Properties doing 9%, HNS Development 3%, Alda 3%, Soba Group 6%, Bengati 6%. So it gives you an overview of the market share by each developer in the given market. Further down, when you scroll down on the same page, now this further data explains you the number of units sold. Year to date, Bengati is number 1 in terms of the number of units being sold. This is an approximate figure that is being given, which shows Bengati as 10,000, EMAR is 10,000 approx, and DMAC 9,000, holding third position, and so on. But when you go further down on the same sheet, you will find the accurate amount of number of units and in terms of the volume that was sold. So you will see that Bengati did 10,411 units. That's the number of units they sold, with a value of 14.8 billion. They held the number 1 position because of the volume. However, EMAR holds the number 1 position in terms of value, which is 51.5 billion, and just close to Bengati's volume of 10,129 units. Again, EMAR has a larger portfolio. DMAC is number 3 with the volume of 8,633 units and the value contributing to 23.7 billion, and so on. This not only gives any investor a proper understanding of the given market and its trends, it also helps investor understand which developer is catering to what kind of volume and in terms of financial value. So if we see a larger number of volume, or we see a big number of value recorded here, it means that a developer has a larger portfolio or more to cater to different or diversified group of clientele. This is one of the features, most attractive features. Going back to the main page, I'm going to explain you one of the other most attractive features. This is the main screen page. You scroll down and you can go down to the option of future supply analysis. Now, ladies and gentlemen, future supply analysis is a concern for any given buyer or investor in the market. This is something that helps you understand what is the market forecasting or what it is looking at. Going down on this page, you'll find that the total number of units that are yet to be delivered or handed over in the market are 412,000. The segregation of this is given in terms of the apartments, villas, and commercial units. What do I understand from that as being a market expert is that the commercial units are still very under-catered. Villas, again, very under-catered in number or in comparison to the apartments that are going to be delivered. Total number of projects, this all data contributes to is 1445, which means that this is something we are yet looking at. But given the population size of Dubai, which has just touched 4 million, and the eventual goal is to go to 8 million by 2040, I say we are still looking at a very, very under-catered market. Going further down on the same page, this will help you understand it much further. These findings are based on the actual data recorded. We see here that the 60% of these units are below the 2 million range. However, the 30% of that contributes to the 2 to 5 million dirham ticket size, which can be probably a townhouse to a very moderate size of apartment, up to a 3-bedroom apartment in some areas. So as soon as we go above the 5 million range, 5 to 10 million, we see that the total number of units contributed by a price range of 5 to 10 million are only 6%, and so on. 10 to 15 million go to 2%, 15 to 30 million go 2%. From an expert's opinion, how I look at this is that the luxury market that's basically starts above the 10 million range is very, very undersupplied and very under-catered. We know that Dubai has become a home to a lot of billionaires in the world. So this given market or this given data helps us understand that the luxury segment is very under-catered. However, even the average to a larger size segment is still very much undersupplied. Below 2 million are the most decent sized properties or most average sized properties, which are the most contributed 60% hold of the total number of units supplied, which means there's a lot of room yet Dubai has to fill in terms of the inventory that has to be catering to the 30% or the 6% or the 2% crowd yet who will increase in numbers in the given time in Dubai. Thank you very much. I hope to see you in my next session or my next vlog video very soon.